This week, we are coming out with two interesting webinars. The first webinar is Navigating Monetary Policy Shifts, where we discuss on current fixed income outlook. And the second webinar is Evolving IT Landscape, Navigating Disruptions and Seizing Opportunity, where we discuss on current IT sector trend. To join the above webinar, click the link in the description.
Boring Stocks Index August Review. On Jan 1, 2023, I started this public experiment called the Boring Stocks Index. 10 equal weighted large companies. That was the experiment. Equal weighted companies which we will hold for a full year, which we are allowed to change only once in a calendar year. On 1st January 2024, we made 3 changes. But subsequently, we have not made any changes. The benchmark for the Boring Stocks Index is the Nifty 50 TRI. Interestingly, over a period of 2 years and 8 months, we have made only 3 changes to the Boring Stocks Index on one occasion. The Nifty 50 TRI has made far more number of changes than we have done. So we have actually been more passive than Nifty 50. Nifty 50 is more active in making changes in the portfolio. This experiment was primarily to highlight that there are different ways to doing large cap investing. You don't need to stereotype indexing as the only way of doing large cap indexing. You don't need to own categories outside large cap to beat the Nifty. You can beat the Nifty owning large companies comfortably. Portfolio allocation can be very simple. Just maintain equal weight. And you will still beat the index. You don't have to have relative conviction within the portfolio in any company. But you need to have absolute conviction on all the 10 companies that you own in the portfolio. These are some of the points that I wanted to bring out in this exercise. I'm not sure how many people have understood this. I still feel most of the people look only at the returns and are waiting to see whether this portfolio does badly or does better. I am indifferent to the outcome of the portfolio. The returns don't bother me, which is why every month, irrespective of what the performance is, we have been reviewing this portfolio and placing the results in the public domain. Recently, I chose to bring it in English also. Earlier, I was doing only in Tamil, which is my mother tongue. Earlier, I was doing it only in Tamil. Now we do it in 2 languages. We still have the opportunity to make that one change this year, in this calendar year, well before the year ends. If we do that, we would still have one more opportunity to do a change in this portfolio next year. I don't know whether I would make the change this year, but I'm just reminding myself and all of you that we have this opportunity. We have not used the opportunity to make changes in the portfolio, and we are still running with the same conviction in the same stocks for over a year and 8 months. It's fun, absolutely. Let's see how the performance of this portfolio panned out in the month of August. If you had put 1 lakh rupees in the Nifty 50 TRI on 1st of August 2025, it would have depleted to 99,581 rupees at the end of the month, giving a return of minus 0.42%. If the same money was invested in the Boring Stocks Index, it would have grown to 1,01,193, giving 1.19% returns. The beat over the Nifty is 1.61% in this month. Now let's see what contributed significantly to this beat. Actually, it was a tough month for this portfolio. ITC returned minus 1.61%. Sun Pharma minus 2.16%. ICICI Bank minus 4.16%. Reliance minus 2.17%. And HDFC Bank minus 5.42%. So if you look at it, 5 companies gave negative returns. And if you look at the companies that gave positive return, Coal India gave 3.37%. Bharti Airtel gave a paltry 0.23%. Larsen & Toubro again gave a paltry 0.38%. Britannia gave 2%. So this is the other 4 positive stocks. The 5th stock has given the portfolio all the returns this month. Maruti Suzuki gave 21.44%. So if you put 10,000 rupees at the beginning of the month, it became 12,023. So one stock has done all the heavy lifting for the boring stock index in the month of August. I'm not sure how many of you would have actually expected this, because Maruti was not signaling business confidence in its management commentary. Maruti has been quite pessimistic. It has been clamoring for a lot of things from the government, but despite all that, the stock seems to be doing fine. Which means the market thinks no matter what noise Maruti makes, the company should be fine. Or relative to other businesses, Maruti seems to be in a better place. The underperformance in banking could be the other surprise. The market clearly wasn't having a negative stance on the top 2 private banks. But the stock price tells us something very different, which means that probably the selling by the foreign institutional investors is hurting these companies. Also, the market thinks that these companies are not capable of giving the kind of growth and metrics which they historically have given, which means that probably their valuations should be softer in the eyes of the market. But these are all changes that keep happening every month. We'll have to see what happens in the month of September to the same set of stocks. I would be very surprised if Maruti sustains its current performance, but something else has to come up with good performance, and we'll have to see which company is capable of that. We clearly are seeing pressure in at least half the companies in this portfolio at this point, and the confidence in the other half has been muted in almost 4 out of 5 companies. So these are things that give you a sense of what is happening in a portfolio. It's very, very interesting when you don't make changes to a portfolio. You are testing your own conviction with behavioral consistency. How does behavioral consistency manage with conviction? How does the conviction ensure you are consistent in your behavior? That's the biggest learning or takeaway in this boring stocks index. It's interesting that today there is even a mutual fund product very similar to the boring stocks index, but its vintage is definitely lesser than the boring stocks index. We came much earlier. And you may also want to compare what has happened in that product versus the boring stocks index. It would be interesting for academic pursuit. I'm also going to do that. I've not done it so far, but maybe I should also see how that is doing to understand what I can do better in the boring stocks index or what somebody else is doing better. It's always good to learn. It's always good to keep improving ourselves, and large cap investing is a tough space where improving ourselves can be more challenging than doing the same thing in a mid cap or a small cap investing universe. There you have a lot of choice, a lot of options, a lot of things you can do. Here, your stock universe is restricted. What you can do is restricted. And you need to be consistent in your thinking, and your conviction needs to be consistent to support your thinking and to support performance. It's a slow cycling race, but it's still a tough race because you need to win by being slower and being the last one to complete, while others may judge and run too fast ahead. I love this about this boring stocks index. It's teaching me a lot of patience. It's teaching me conviction in a completely different shade. And it's teaching me how to learn in public, transparently, and to accept whatever learnings come from this exercise and this experiment. It's been fun. I hope you enjoy this boring stocks portfolio, and I hope you have your own learnings in whatever you do, because it's always good to become a better investor every single day. Thank you for watching this video.